Hello everybody, Damascus the Fox here, and today we will be I will be reviewing the CRKT CEO Blade HQ exclusive with brass scales. Now I'm really excited about this one because, yeah, these are just so cool. So many cool different varieties in the CEO. This one is the, oh, fudge that. There you go. This is stonewash finish. Look at that. Sick. And this one over yonder is the black stonewash finish. So this is a double review because they're both the same knife, but I wanted to show you the two variants of the brass one. And these are both with D2 steel and practically the same, but they both have as the standard version, but these have D2 steel, so it's upgrade steel and brass scales, which is really cool. These are going to patina very nicely. But before we start talking about them, let's do some specs. Starting off with, let's go with length. I'll put this guy over here in the corner. Do this guy. This guy's kind of hard to balance. Let's go with there. All right. Coming in, don't stab me, there you go. Huh. Right there at like 7.5 inches overall. And then blade length, coming in at about, I'll say 3 1/4, and cutting edge is maybe just a little less than 3 1/4, but pretty much 3 1/4 right there. It's, yeah, pretty much. That's really, really good. And wait, I mean, how much more edge could you possibly need, right? Hello to you too. Okay, we got ounces on. This guy weighs 3.47 ounces. I'm not sure. They're probably exactly the same, but I kind of want to see if this black stonewash adds any other. It says 3.47. Okay, no, just do that. And to give you a comparison, here's the original. This is how much the original weighs. 2.08 ounces. So you're adding approximately an ounce and a half, a little less than an ounce and a half back on there. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That brass does increase the weight. You can actually feel that weight compared to the original. Talk about more of that in a moment. Let's do size comparison. There we go. Be gone with you. We'll do a size comparison with this guy so he doesn't feel left out. There we go. Starting off with pair 3. And Tenacious Spyderco. So, it's about the same size or length as a Tenacious. Pair 3. Give you the, yeah, it's just a little bit longer than the pair 3, which is actually kind of funny. That this little skinny guy is actually longer. All right. And now let's do CJRB Feldspar small and CJRB Feldspar standard. And yeah, standard one, just a tad bit longer, while the smaller guy is just a tad bit smaller. So this guy is right in between these two. It's pretty cool. Next, we have It's kind of an odd comparison, but whatever. Benchmade Freak. And we banter. And it is shorter than the Freak, obviously, but longer than the banter. So, pretty cool. And last but not least, the perfect EDC. Cold Steel Espada XL G10. And Cold Steel Espada Medium. And let's see, it's just a little bit smaller than the spot. Just a little bit, you know? It's like, just a little bit. And, yeah. Just a little bit smaller than the medium. So, yeah. You know, I wonder if there will ever be a day that I actually do a comparison and the knife is actually bigger than the Espada. I doubt that would ever happen. Let me know if you guys know if there's a folding knife that is bigger than the Espada. Let me know. I need this knife in my collection if there's something bigger than the Espada. Okay, let's do height. Where are you? There you are. Height up against Tenacious and Pair 3. So as you can see, obviously, this guy is not going to be high whatsoever. It is practically half the size, maybe even more, than the Pair 3 and the Tenacious. Yeah. So this is going to be a very slender and easy to carry, not cumbersome whatsoever. Width. You can see that there. Get my lighting. Need to adjust my lighting position so you guys can see that. So as you can see, width on this guy. This guy's a little bit thicker. This guy is thinner. Pocket clip kind of makes it a little bit thicker. You can see that. But that's really no problem because it cuts down with being so slender. Alright. And blade thickness. Let's do a blade thickness comparison. You can see that. There's a spot on my ground that sinks in whenever I step on it. So that's why you see the camera move, possibly. Whenever I step on it, it makes the camera move. It's weird. Spot on my floor, not ground. As you can see, very thin blade. Very thin. Thinnest. Crazy thin. Thing has been on a diet for a very long time. And then price. This guy, you probably have to check the website for current pricing just in case if I'm off. But I believe it was $64.99 for both of them. They do not change. So yeah, it's going to cost you quite a bit for D2 and brass, but that's okay because it's actually, it's actually pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, the original one is about, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was like $49, give or take. It might have been $39. So I thought this was like a $40, yeah, I thought this was a $40 knife. So I think this is $39. So yeah, just like an extra $20 to get this, give or take. So not a bad price, not too bad. These guys are getting pretty expensive. There's another one, I'm not sure, I don't think I showed it yet, but there's another one. It's like, I think it had S35VN steel and marble carbon fiber scales, and that was like $150. I have that one in my collection. I'm probably going to do a video on it soon if I haven't already. I do a lot of knife videos, and sometimes I forget what I review, so sorry about that. But yeah, so that's like a lot of money. But I love these knives, so yeah. And oh, almost forgot my cut test. Don't want to forget the cut test, so you guys know how this thing cuts. This guy right here, this is the standard stone wash. I love that stone wash. That is such a nice finish. All right, this is how it cuts. Like butter. Yeah, that is satisfying as hell. This guy is slicey. So if you want something slender, thin, and slicey, oh my god. Haven't felt something that good in a while. Yeah, sorry. That was slicey. I love it. So, very slicey. Definitely gonna like that if you want something very slicey. Great for cutting your apples when you're at lunch. Something like that. Now, before this video goes on forever, let's talk a little bit about this knife. So we already talked about the finish, which is black stonewash and regular stonewash. Brass scales, we already talked about that. And D2 steel. This knife is designed, it is tipped down carry only. Some people may not like that. Some people may be okay with that. Some people may be completely outraged by that. Who knows? But the reason why it's designed to go into your shirt breast pocket or your suit pocket, you know, on your chest, it's designed to look like kind of like a pen. So it looks very discreet. Nobody will really know that you have a knife on you, unless, of course, they're a knife enthusiast like yourself. Because right here you got this CRKT right there. The original one has it as well. I think there's some models that do not have it. So it'll be a little bit more discreet. But I kind of do like the logo there, in my opinion. Because if you're carrying this in your breast pocket, and you're like, you know, everyone thinks you just have a pen, not a knife. But you don't know if anyone in your, you know, wherever you work or wherever, is also a knife enthusiast. And this kind of would signal out to them that I'm a knife enthusiast. Talk to me about this knife. If they're, you know, a CRKT fan, then you either become over and like, dude, is that a CEO in your breast pocket? And you'll be all like, yes, I have a CEO in my breast pocket. And boom, you just made yourself a new knife friend at work that you had no idea was a knife enthusiast as well as you. That is a hypothetical situation. It would be awesome if someone actually had that happen to them. If there was a situation like that happened to you, similar, where you made a friend over them spotting a knife on you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear a story like that. That would be really cool. Detent on this guy is fantastic. Some of the CEO models, it varies from model to model, depending on the model that you get. Some of the Detent feel a little weaker than the other. Some of them feel stronger than others. Where the OG guy right here, Detent is just toned in perfectly, flies right open. Some people think that this guy is automatic. It's not. It's just the Detent and the ball, right there, the IKBS ball bearing system. It's just that good. It's fantastic. So yeah, it flies out, and this one feels pretty much the same as the original guy, which I really like. Comes out really nice. The brass on this guy is a little bit, you know, I think this guy's messing up the autofocus. Scoot over. There, I think that's better. The brass on this is a little bit slicker. Not too slick. It's a little bit slicker. It'll probably might get gritty over time with holding it, and you know, your oils changing the color and gripping texture. But doesn't have as much traction. And this guy doesn't have as much traction either. But that's okay for this kind of guy, because you're not really going to be doing any like serious hard work with this. You ain't going to be, you know, splitting wood or anything like that. This will probably just be, you know, a very, very expensive letter opener, or, you know, just processing your apples, or, just little EDC tasks that you need, or opening up your next package with your next CO in it. So that's probably what this guy's going to be most used for. I would say very light tasks, because I won't really put this guy through hell. That's just my opinion. Processing boxes. This thing would probably be really good at processing boxes because of that very slim edge geometry right there. Very slicey. I love that. So that's actually really good. Right there, the thumb stud is a little bit in the way of the cutting path, but not too bad in my opinion. You do have a nice sharpening choil right there that you have plenty of cutting edge that it won't get hung up on boxes as easily as some knives. I notice that whenever I have a shorter knife, I do tend to get hung up on the sharpening choil a little bit more often than longer knives. So that's just something that's actually pretty cool. It's actually also kind of very close to the scales, so it kind of acts as a guard so you won't get that hung up when you're slicing. So I really like that. That's actually really cool. Right there you can see that it's not recessed into the scales. I'm going to close this before I cut myself. Okay, right there. It's not recessed into the scales. Only the screws are recessed, which is a plus. Thank you. But the pocket clip itself is not recessed, but they made a little ramp. If you can see that right there. Made a little ramp so it ramps up your pocket onto the pocket clip, which is actually pretty nice. I'm not sure why they didn't just go with a recessed pocket clip. Maybe because it's already pretty thin and they didn't want to make it any thinner, perhaps. So they just went with a ramp system. Here's the ramp system on the original. It's a little bit tighter, I would say, a little bit closer to that one. This one looks a little bit more rounded at the end, if you can see that. Yeah, a little bit more rounded, but it should work just fine. Because one thing why I don't like non-recessed pocket clips is because when I put it into any pocket, the pocket tends to get pushed down by this spot right here, or I can feel that resistance and I have to push it past and I feel a bump. It's not really that big of a deal depending on some knives and some pants, some type of pants that I'm wearing. If it has a really thick seam, some of the pants or shorts that I wear have a very thick seam and it tends to get caught right there. So if you're not paying attention to that, you may only put your knife in halfway and you got this much sticking out, and then when you do some activity it pops right out of your pocket. So just be wary of that. This guy has the ramp, so you probably won't have to worry about that. So that's just my opinion on why I like it being recessed, but with this ramp system it kind of helps with that. So I like that. That's really good. Let's check out Lockup. No play, up and down, left and right, perfect. Nice lockup right there. Look at that. It's just like all the way, just right there. Boom. Nice lockup and disengaging. No lock stick. Very nice. Very consistent with its lockup too. I like that. Now some people have trouble with, which is no problem. Everyone, has trouble with something, with engaging and disengaging this knife. So I'm going to see if I can help you with that, possibly. If you got big fingers, my dad has big fingers. So he managed to actually work this knife with a little bit of training from yours truly, with his big fingers. So it can be done with really big fingers. What you need to do is use your nail. Don't try to use this like this. Use your nail. Try to get into that gap right there and just push down. And it should come down for you. Like that. So that should work. And if you're trying to actuate this, you would want to put pressure here compared to here, and then use this to grip this pocket clip right there. Grip it right there, nice and tight. And then you just do a nice swift motion this way. Be careful with this, because I got this jammed under my nail one time and it just pulled my finger off my nail. It did like a slice thing right under there. It hurt for about like 2 weeks before I was able to use this knife again. So be very careful when, positioning your finger to this thumb stud, and just make sure when you're trying to actuate this thing, don't be afraid of it, because that's usually when you get hurt, is when fear takes over and you end up messing things up. So just try to be careful and just do a solid motion kind of this way. Not too much this way, kind of more this way, but definitely boom, like that. So I hope that helped. I hope I was descriptive with how to actuate this and disengage this. I'll probably do a video solely training on that with a little bit more in-depth, but otherwise I hope that helped. So yeah. Let's see. It has very minimal hardware. You got one screw right there. You got your pivot right there, and then just these two pocket clip screws. So very minimal hardware. You don't really have to worry about too much on that. You do have your scales blade and your aligners, and then you have this pommel right there. So that's pretty cool. One of the things I do like about this is you can't stand it up like that. Boom! That's perfect Instagram photos right there. So that's perfect. Yeah. So that's my review on the CRKT CEO with the brass scales. Oh, and one last thing. This guy does have an extra, like I showed, an extra, like, a little less than an ounce and a half. So if it's designed to be in the breast pocket, you probably will feel this guy with the brass scales a little bit more so than the original guy, because this guy is light as crap. So yeah, you'll probably feel this guy in your pocket as you're moving around. It might even hang down a little bit on your pocket, a little bit more than this guy would. So just keep that in mind if you're, which one you want. If you're like, I do like the brass scales, but I don't really want to feel that weight in my breast pocket because I already have so many pins in there, then this guy may not be a choice for you, because even that extra ounce, it's just one extra ounce, but I would say you will probably feel this in a breast pocket. That's just my personal opinion. I need to actually try this guy out in my breast pocket, because I actually never wore this guy in my breast pocket. But just by the feel of it, and by other things that I feel like this guy, you would definitely notice it in your breast pocket. But if you're carrying it for a while, you'll probably adapt and then end up just completely flushing it out of your brain, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm carrying a CEO that's a little bit heavier than the original. But just keep that in mind. Alright, so I think this video has gone on long enough. That would be it for today. That is the CRKT CEO with brass scales. Blade HQ exclusive. Alright, well, I hope you liked this video, and if you like more knife and EDC related content, remember to check out my other videos, and remember to subscribe, because I post every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there'll be more knives and more videos in the future. Thank you again for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye.